Next project. So the D1s, like many other brands of vehicles and so on, they don't come with a headlight relay. And so one of the reasons why you want to add a headlight relay is to A, avoid burning your switch, as all the power is directed through the switch onto the headlights, and B, so that you can actually feed more power by upgrading the grade of the wiring to the headlights, so subsequently you end up with much more a brighter headlight. Now you can buy kits for these things generally, but I had some leftover stuff that I'm going to use, and I bought a few things from eBay. And essentially what I'm doing is, well, I'll show you the bits first. What I've got here is just one of these dual fused relays, and with its own little wiring, but I'll be referring to my own wiring. Obviously one bank's going to be for low beam, the other one bank's going to be for high beam. I've got leftover, and I bought another reel of 4mm cable. I've got leftover 6mm cable. I bought new plugs with the thicker wiring, which is looks like it's 4mm as well, and of course terminals, both for the 4mm, and I've had some leftover ones from another packet which are for the 6mm, which are the yellow ones, these ones there, and of course the old protection tube, plastic tube. So the first thing I'm going to do is concentrate on looking at where I'm going to position this relay, and I'm thinking, if you look at the car and you've got the fuse box there, I'm thinking around there, making use of this bolt in here. Okay. It's probably going to be this way. So roughly there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to now measure from here to the battery positive the length of wiring that I require, and of course give myself a bit of room so I can tuck it in nicely. And then the first thing I'll do is cut that to length and add the two joints at the end of it, the connectors, making sure that I can actually connect it directly to this. Alright, so I've cut the 6mm cable, which is the one that will be feeding to the power supply, and according to the diagram it's the B side of things, so they'll be connecting there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to be a little bit pedantic, and I'm actually going to put that in there. I wonder if I can do this there, and I'm going to solder the end of it, and then on top of that I'm going to crimp it. Okay, so this is what I'm left with. I actually took the original plastic sheathing out of there and decided to just use the heat shrink, and I'll do the same with the others, I think. See how I go. But anyway, that's one, the power cable. Now to concentrate on the 4mm. Probably the first thing I need to do is measure and then solder the ends to that, and we'll go from there. So I've just positioned this back here because the next step is to calculate the distance that I need to cut the wires for each headlight. Now, obviously minus that distance for each of them, and it's going to be a rough approximation. So obviously putting that roughly there, I'll measure the distance from there to here, and I'll multiply by 3 cables, although negative actually goes back to the negative on the battery, but I'll still cut the length of the 3. And likewise I'll run for the other side, I'll run the headlights that come around here, follow this under, just like with this one, under the radiator, come back around the other side, and then I'll just feed it through the grommet here. Okay, just to take stock of what we've got so far. So as we said, relay, we've got negative, a positive, one of the headlights, which is the far side, hence the length of cable, and the short side. And I've decided to take the plunge and just get it over and done with and just install it. So I've got the ground to the battery. I've put the positive to the battery, and of course I'll end up putting the this conduit type material on it. And what I'm doing now is I've cut the original headlight wiring. Here it is here, and I'm just going to feed it up through this conduit here, and the two of those will be, these two will be the trigger points for the relay on this side, I believe. Just got to double check that. So where the power comes in, yep, S1 and S2. Might just make S1 low beam, S2 high beam. So these will be the trigger points for the relay, and then I'll have high beams, the two cables from each side of the headlights, and the low beams from each side of the headlights connected respectively. So low beam coming across and high beam coming across to the other side. Okay, so again, just brought the wiring up from the original wiring harness. I've ignored the ground because the relay's grounded anyway over here, and so I've got one on the S1 chain side of the relay and S2 bank for the other cable. So it doesn't really matter which way they go, as long as the corresponding wires that you're using match. So, you know, low beam and high beam match the relevant bank. All right, a quick rundown. Running out of sunlight here, but anyway. So here we go. Power. We have low beam and high beam, I believe, and the matching high beam, low beam with earth going to the battery. And for each of the headlights, I've actually wired it directly to the battery of the earth. And in terms of how I've routed it, it's just come through here. One of them goes in under there. You can just see it there, and the other one I'm actually going to be running it between, just up from the radiator. So what I'll do there is I'll zip tie it all nicely so it's tucked away, and then that comes down through this little handy hole that was already there, in through the grommet there, and there you go, it's fed through there. I've just tested it and it's working beautifully. So now I know my switch is protected, and I also know that I'm getting maximum power through to the headlights. And what I've done on the other side is I've got the original headlight just kind of dangling down out of the way there. Don't know if you can see it. And so I'll just tidy that up later as well. But effectively, that's no longer needed. So all I need to do now is just position this in the appropriate spot, tidy it all up, and that's another job done.